Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Sean Bello in Lagos. It was an eventful weekend when the late Chief of Staff to the President, Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Abba Kyari, was buried in Abuja. He was a man that could be regarded as one of the most powerful persons in Nigeria and also very influential in Nigerian politics. Many people have spoken about him, especially those who love him and those who are on the inside of the nation's corridor of power. The Borno-born politician was criticized and as being wielding so much influence, but his loyalty to the president was perhaps one that a lot of people said that it was very rock solid. Abba Kyari was buried at the Muslim section of the Gudu Cemetery in Abuja following his death after testing positive to the coronavirus. But some of those who attended the burial event may not gain access to the presidential villa for another 14 days. Mr. Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant of Media and Publicity to the President, says there is nothing unusual about barring people who attended the burial of Abba Kyari from Aso Rock Villa. He was reacting to reports that some top government officials were denied access to the presidential villa after they attended the burial. In a series of tweets earlier today on Twitter, Mr. Shehu said the action was in line with the guidelines put in place by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. He says, quote, "There is nothing extraordinary about those of us who attend Abba Kyari's funeral being advised to distance ourselves from the villa," end of quote. He said that they are doing that as a precautionary measure. Meanwhile, we are in a receipt of a video on social media showing the decontamination of the area in which the former chief of staff to the president was buried yesterday. Well, there are some concerns about one of the men who took part in the burial of the late chief of staff to the president. Rather disturbing videos also which surfaced online showing the man taking off his protective white suit he was wearing when the body of Malam Kyari was being lowered into the grave at Gudu Cemetery. He was seen later packing the clothes into a red polythene bag, which he thereafter dumped by the roadside before entering into his car. Although China's television has not been able to independently verify the video, but the NCDC has released guidelines on how to bury bodies of those confirmed to have died from COVID-19, perhaps in the wake of the non-adherence to the social distancing directive at that burial ceremony. Tonight, we talk to one governor who is perceived to be close to the late Abba Kyari and who has not had a single case of coronavirus in his state. The governor of Kogi State, Mr. Bello, joins us from Lokoja, the capital of Kogi State. Thank you, Your Excellency, Governor of Kogi State, for joining us tonight. And condolences also on the loss to your party, to the nation, and to the president, the Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari. But let's begin. Mr. Kyari was one of those who visited you when you lost your mother after a return from Germany. How does this come to you, Governor Bello?
Thank you very much, Mr. Shehu. Good evening, Nigerians. The loss of Mala Abba Kyari is regrettable, a great loss not only to Mr. President, not only those of us that are in position of authority today, but a great loss to Nigerians, to the family, and to those of us that are very close to him who knows his words. As Muslims, we all believe that we come from Almighty Allah, and we shall all return back to him one after the other. This is his own time, and the same time that God will recall him. We only pray that may his soul rest in perfect peace. And I use this opportunity once again to condole with Mr. President and our leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, his family, and Nigerians. We're going to miss him a lot, indeed.
As against some of those who think Mr. Kyari had so much power and so much influence, and some of those who refer to him as part of the cabal, and we're seeing controversies and incidents in the villa, perhaps also with the wife of the president, at some point, the former head of the civil service, and some issues that have emerged. The Senate president, for example, Ahmed Lawan, said that he will recall in his tribute to him, say he will record many instances of Malam Kyari visiting his office at the National Assembly to personally deliver communications from the executive to underscore the high pedestal on which he placed the institution. As someone who was influential for your party, some people have referred to him as the head of the cabal. Is there any truth to the story about cabal, as much as you know?
Well, thank you. Like you know, and those of us in authority, loyalty is number one. And secondly, your ability and character to discharge the duties and responsibilities that bestowed on you is one other thing again. And Mala Abba Kyari was very loyal to Mr. President, very diligent, a professional par excellence, and he's very passionate about the progress and development of Nigeria, not only for our party, the APC, but Nigeria in general. So such a person, if he's carrying on his duty and responsibilities, surely there's no how you'll not step on toes in one way or the other to ensure that the job is done. So if you step on toes in one way or the other, it is just for the country and to ensure that he served Mr. President diligently. That he did excellently well. It took a lot of bullets and took a lot of responsibility for that. So there's no regret and there's no apology to that effect. And I think in due course, we are going to miss this very great Nigerian who sacrificed it all to ensure that we have the much modest achievement that we have today. So if you say cabal, in one way or the other, yes, you will have one or two persons that is loyal to you, who is ready to dare the devil and ensure that the job is done. So if you call it a cabal, depends on the angle you're looking at it from. We look at him as a patriot, a great diplomat, because he was never an ambassador, a great politician, but he has never sought for any elected position, and a great technocrat, and a great lawyer, somebody who is very passionate about this country. So, and he has done his own part, he has made his own contribution and left a very big shoes. I hope and I pray that Mr. President is going to get somebody who is going to fill into this particular vacuum. And we wish him an eternal rest.
Thank you so much, Governor Bello, for your thoughts on the late Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari. Let's talk about the coronavirus, which, of course, we know there is no confirmed case in Kogi State. And one of the biggest fears of analysts and experts is that your state is a very big passage and linkage, if you may call it, of the north and the south, somewhat connecting several states. Over 6 states is, your state is bordered by about 6 states or so. And the concern of a lot of people is the movement of people in and out of your state every day. Are you worried about that? And what are you doing to ensure that the virus does not get into your state?
Thank you very much. Like you said, Kogi State is at the center of this country, bordered by 10 states, that's inclusive of FCT, a gateway between the north and south. It comes with a lot of challenges and opportunities. We have been grappling with a lot of challenges in the past, and this is not new to us. With the outbreak of the novel COVID-19 coronavirus, we were among the first states that took a very proactive step in ensuring that we set up Kogi State COVID-19 Squadron, led by my deputy, Edward David Onoja, and about 30 other members drawn across all facets of life in Kogi State to advise us on ways we should go about to ensure that we prevent COVID-19 from spreading to our state. We took those proactive steps early enough to ensure that the spread of COVID-19 does not get to Kogi State, and it's working excellently well. The same way we set up the same committee to deal with issue of Lassa fever and some other contagious diseases and other challenges that we're facing in the state, and we're doing excellently well. The issue of lockdown or closing our borders, we're very careful about that because being a gateway, if we decide to immediately shut down all the borders and all the roads leading into and out of the state, there shall be an untold hardship not only to the citizens of Kogi State, but to Nigerians in general. So what we did is to ensure that those that are passing by passes through safely and securely, and also those that are living within the state equally follow all the protocols as advised by experts. And that we're doing diligently. That is why up till date, we're not recording any case in the state. However, from what we're meant to believe and from expert advice and what we listen to and read every day, is that there are procedures or ways in which this particular virus is being transmitted. And if you follow certain expert or medical advice, it will never get to you. So we advise our state, and the great citizens of Kogi State, very, very, very loyal and very diligent. They are following exactly our instructions, and we are ensuring that they keep personal hygiene and enough social distancing and ensuring that they don't contact anything. We ensure also that anybody that is coming from a different state into our state, we have our records, we ensure that they follow the due protocols, and as such, we're not recording anything. Mind you, it's not only in the issue of COVID-19, including every other thing that happens in this country. In Kogi State, we are always very proactive to ensure that we don't allow it to degenerate. Because remember, when we, the various federating units, do our job very well, there will be no need for Mr. President to rise up to certain challenge. So we in Kogi State here, we're doing our best to ensure that COVID-19 does not come into Kogi State. And inshallah, by the grace of God, Kogi State will be free of COVID-19.
Did you receive any fund from the federal government to curtail COVID-19?
All that you have received so far is that we have received as a state so far is a very wonderful and large-hearted donation from the United Bank for Africa, UBA, in the sum of 28.5 million naira. That is all we have received so far. No any support, no any palliative, nothing has come from anywhere. We are doing our best in Kogi State, using our little and meager resources and our ingenuity to ensure that we mitigate against COVID-19 and any other contagious diseases in the state.
How many centers do you have, especially for the treatment of COVID-19 in your preparations?
So far, we have established about 3 isolation centers in the state. But so far, so good. Well, as God will have it, we've not recorded any issue. And not only just as establishing isolation centers or test centers. We have not gotten any one single test center, and there's even no cause for any test so far. What we did is to develop an app that we launch, and we ensure that all the citizens of Kogi State have access to that particular app. We carry out serious sensitization, and whoever is exhibiting any symptom, if you just simply log on to that app and you follow the simple instructions, you will know whether you should come for any test or make any adverse report. And I am following up periodically and looking at the report as it comes. So far, so good. We are very good in that, and we're keeping up to date.
Have you carried out in Kogi State?
Pardon, please, can you repeat your
How many
question?
COVID-19 tests have you carried out in Kogi State?
Like we said, so far so good, we have launched an app. And if nobody if nobody show any sign or any cause for any test, we wouldn't go out and begin to catch any human being and say we want to test anybody, because there is enough and adequate sensitization of our citizens. So far, we don't have any test center here, but there is in Irua, there is in FCT. And if there's any, and we have test kits that we have on our own purchased, in the event there's any need for us to carry out to collect any sample. So if nobody come up with any issue and there's no any reported case, what are we going to collect to send to any of these test centers? So far so good. I think our sensitization program is working excellently well. Our people are following our instructions, and we're very good for it here.
Like your state is Nasarawa State that borders FCT. FCT has the second highest number of COVID-19 cases, confirmed cases in Nigeria. And Nasarawa State, for example, shut down places that are very close to Abuja because of the high rate of the COVID-19 cases in Abuja. Considering the proximity of Abuja to Lokoja, for example, are you thinking of shutting perhaps some borders or taking some measures to ensure that you avert a possibility of the spread of the virus, for example, a possibility of that from Abuja?
Thank you. FCT is not the only state that is close to us. If not Bad Road, from here to Ekiti is very close. From here to Ondo is equally very close. From here to Benue is equally close. And we have 10 borders, like I said, including FCT, that is bordering us. We are the nucleus. Now, issue of shutting down, this is how it goes. We have technically shut down and enlightened our people. By technically shutting down, we are not locked up. We're not locking our people that are in. This is what has happened. Every state, not only Nasarawa State, has already shut down and locked some of their borders, aside those that are traveling across the state. Now, if they have already shut down, what are we going to shut down again? If they have closed their borders, what are we going to close down again? So it means that technically, every adjoining states have already shut down. So technically, we are shut down as well, but not locked up.
Okay,
because
so
of the
Governor,
of some of those that are living.
All right, so
Yep.
Mr. Governor, for example, if anyone is having symptoms of the COVID-19, where can they go to for testing in Lokoja? Are they going to go to Abuja or where?
If we don't have any case, what are we going to test? Now,
No, I'm saying,
like
apologies, for clarity's sake, for example, anybody within Kogi State, Mr. Governor, anybody in Kogi State who feels the symptoms, where should they go? Is there any center specially dedicated for in preparation for COVID-19 in Kogi State?
Like I said, first prevention is better than cure. Before you now go and begin to collect samples or anybody showing any sign or symptom, going by that application that virtually everybody in the state already are using now, they will have notified us ahead that there are issues like this. And then we have a team that will zero in to know whether you are exhibiting any symptom of COVID-19 or not. So what happened at that point? If there is no need to collect any sample, we're not going to waste the test kits. But in the event that there is such any issue or any case at all, since we don't have any test center here, FCT is very close here, and Irua is equally close to us. We sent it to any of these. Remember when they were with the outbreak of Lassa fever? That was what we did immediately. And then the death rate in Kogi State, were able to immediately curtail it. In fact, there's no any fatality within Kogi State. Those patients that we were able to detect were sent to Irua, and it was in Irua that they died. So that is how proactive we are here. We are equipped, the team is working excellently well, and we're very, very proactive in ensuring that we safeguard the health and lives of the citizens of Kogi State.
All right. The fear about the fact that those who are not educated enough or savvy enough tech-wise to use the app, what happens to them?
We have officers that are designated in every ward, not only local government, We have 239 wards in Kogi State. We have officers that are designated, health officers, designated that are carrying out sensitization program. We have our hotline, we have our app, we have our centers where they could report to, and our people, based on the effectiveness and efficacy of our sensitization, not only through the social media, television, and radio. Town criers, we involve the traditional rulers, we involve youth groups, we involve women groups to ensure that adequate sensitization is ongoing. So that in case there's any case, immediately we take it up. So these are the things we are doing that is ensuring that Kogi State is safe. In fact, what we do is that in case anybody travel from any of these affected states, come to the state, immediately we have a record of it. We know and we keep tab on the person to ensure that the person is in a very sound health.
Stay with us, Mr. Governor, the governor of Kogi State. We get our closing moments with you after this break. We take a break. But before we go on, did you see that segment? This is a matter that perhaps bothers the mind. In just about 2 weeks or less, 3 major public buildings in Abuja were gutted by fire. It was first the Treasury House, which houses the Canon General Office. The fire started on the 2nd floor of the building and gutted parts of the AGF's office. Then the INEC office, where the inferno is said to have affected the Department of Electoral and Party Monitoring, part of the Commission's head office. Another building is the headquarters of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CSC, in the Maitama area of Abuja. Fire in Abuja. Some worries there. We take a break. Welcome back, everyone. Don't forget to let us know what your views are on the issues we're discussing tonight on the program. Tweet to us on these handles or write to us on an email, politicstoday@channelstv.com. Let's get back to the conversation. Our closing moments with the governor of Kogi State, Governor Bello, which said there's no confirmed case of COVID-19, and we're asking him how prepared the state is. Thank you so much, Governor Bello, for your time tonight. Our closing moment with you now, and I'd like to ask, you shut down a company in respect of your fight on COVID-19. Have you reopened it?
Like I said, thank you very much, Mr. Sheo. We are technically shut down. We have not reopened any government activity. Our institutions are shut down except health institutions and very vital ones or very essential services that are ongoing. Our workers are still working from home. Our schools are still shut down. So we are not working, technically right now. But like I said, we are not shutting up.
Mr. Governor, before we wrap up, let me ask you about one of your commissioners who was accused of allegedly raping a lady. The civil society community is in a rage over that matter. How seriously are you taking that case?
Thank you very much. Whoever have been following our modus operandi in Kogi State will know that we have zero tolerance on crimes and criminality of any sort, not even ordinary assault, that my administration will condone. There was that wild allegation against one of my commissioners, and it is left for the security. I have directed immediately agencies, the police and the DSS should quickly zero in and establish the facts, because it's a very grievous offense, and I will not take it with levity. And I think the security agencies are already working on it without any interference whatsoever. And at the end of the day, whoever is culpable will face the full wrath of the law. But let me quickly add here that let me just, in a very subtle way, advise the media, whether conventional or the social or new media, that there has been so many spurious, allegations against, either some people or some officials in my government or from Kogi State. there should be investigative journalism before anything is put out there. But here in Kogi State, we are not going to allow or condone any act of criminality of any sort, whoever is involved.
Is the commissioner still in cabinet? Is it still sitting in cabinet?
It's an allegation. And until proven otherwise, you cannot punish somebody that is alleged to have committed any offense. It's for instance, now, Bello Yahaya can accuse you yourself, Shehu Okimbale, that you slapped me when I came to your studio. Will China just go ahead and sack you because I just simply alleged? They have to carry out investigation to allow, I mean, for fair hearing. So I think that is what is ongoing right now until the police or the security agencies come up with whatever their findings will be, and appropriate action shall be taken.
Governor Yahaya Bello, Governor of Kogi State, thank you so much for your time tonight on the program.